Earlier this year, 600 amateurs competed for the BBC TV and Radio Times Awards for Amateur Film and Video Makers. Today and over the next 4 days, Sue Robbie presents a selection of the semi-finalists, and on Friday we announce the winner of Showreel 87.
Hello and welcome to Showreel 87, the second BBC TV and Radio Times Awards for amateur film and video makers. Today and over the next few days I'll be presenting to you some of the entries which are competing for prizes worth a total of £9,000. The competition aims to reward promise and achievements, particularly amongst younger amateurs, and so encourage the next generation of film and video makers to go on to develop their skills and abilities. The awards are for 3 age groupings: 11 to 15 years old, 16 to 24 and 25 plus. There are 2 awards in each category, a first prize of £2,000 and a second prize of £1,000. Out of the many hundreds of entries we received, you can see about 40 or so in these programmes. In the last programme we'll be revealing the winning entries, and I'll be joined by all 5 judges who'll be here to present the awards. This year, the judges are Michael Apted, the documentary and feature film director, Chris Menges, Academy Oscar-winning cameraman and also a film director, Bob Godfrey, one of Britain's top animators, Jeff Brown of the Radio Times, and with me today, Angela Pope, experienced in both documentary and drama filmmaking. But on to the entries. Our first extract is from Simon Howard, a film student at the London International Film School. The subject of the film, Harold, has applied to a dating agency. Called Sincerely Harold Washington, it was made in black and white on 35mm film.
See you on Saturday. Yours, Natasha.
London. It's looking great on this sunny Saturday morning, and it's 8:22 in the capital.
Gradino dalla difesa, una gratessa fate vedar, che in piazza qualche ragazza, che quello cerca venar, che quello cerca venar, cerca venar, cerca venar, cerca venar, nel lato sia, il menuetto sia, il delle manna, fare vedar, il menuetto fare vedar, il la polia fare vedar, il delle manna fare vedar, e di un canto dall'altro canto, quell'amo amore già, la melisa dopo mattina, vicina deve metar, la melisa dopo vicina deve metar, e si piazza qualche ragazza deve bella aria, la melisa dopo mattina, vicina deve metar, e non è via, il questo via, il manna.
Oh, poor Harold. Sincerely, Harold Washington by Simon Howard. 35mm film is usually too expensive for amateur filmmakers to use. Occasionally 60mm or more normally 8mm film is a more reasonable proposition. But these days amateurs are increasingly using video, a much cheaper alternative. Our next entry comes from Mayfield High School in Essex and was made on VHS video, the preferred medium of most schools and community groups.
What are you going to do when you get home? I might watch TV. I might watch EastEnders. My mum taped it last night on video. What are you going to do, Sho?
Might have something to eat. I'm starving.
Ew, where's that cab? I can't see it. It's getting cold now, isn't it?
Yeah, we should hurry up.
Hi, Sharon, did you order a minicab?
Yeah.
Where do you want to go?
Mayfield Road.
Is that Dagenham?
Yeah.
Hold on, I don't know if I want to get in. I mean, he's got nothing on to say in the taxi or anything, has he?
Oh, don't be stupid. Come on.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, I'm not too sure about it.
Look, he's going to give us the lift, isn't he? Let's get in.
All right then.
Cool, it is cold.
Well, it's nice and warm in here, isn't it?
Sure, this mate.
Nice day, isn't it? Bit cold.
Yeah, not too bad.
Been shopping?
Yeah. Hey, look. That woman.
Isn't that where Angie lives over there? House over there.
Might be. I don't think so. She's got a blue door, hasn't she?
I thought she lived down here.
Did you want to see that T-shirt I got?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That'd do for your holidays, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Alright, that'll be £2. Alright? So,
See you tomorrow then.
See ya.
Bye.
right then, where to then?
Green Lane,
Whereabouts in Green Lane?
Linford.
Linford, right, okay, we'll get you there as quick as we can.
It's a bit quiet in here, isn't it? Where's your radio?
No, it broke last week, still being repaired.
Where's it normally go then?
Oh, down here, on, you know, underneath my other, you know, my ashtray.
So how do you know how much I'm paying you then? Where's your meter?
Well, I'll take it by the number of miles I do, you know. Just say 50p a mile, right? Hey, it's new company policy, is that?
It's not very reliable, is it?
Well, you know, give or take a few pennies, sometimes it might work out a bit cheaper.
Can you stop the car? Look, where are you taking me? This ain't nowhere near Mayfield Road. Where is it?
That'll be all right, don't worry.
No, look, stop the car. Look, I weren't very happy. I didn't want to get here in the first place. Now I'm the only one in the car. I ain't too happy about it.
Why not?
Because you ain't got a radio, nothing, or a meter, have you? So, look, just let me out. Look, I don't like it in here.
Good morning. This is the 8 o'clock news. Police are still hunting for the missing girl who was last seen a week ago by her two friends getting into a cab. The missing girl was wearing a blue anorak and a long skirt. If anybody has any information...
VHS with a very serious message. Well, with me today is Angela Pope, who began her career as an independent director making documentaries. Since then, she's turned her attention to dramas such as the Emmy Award-winning The Treble and more recently the film Shift Work. Well, welcome, Angela. Nice to have you along. What did you make of that last extract?
Well, I thought that was a fine little film. I thought for two reasons. I thought the girls were great. I really believed those girls. They could be from any comprehensive down the road. Very unforced playing. But I thought its really strong point was that, unlike so many of the entries, they had worked out what they wanted to say. Simple little message, simply told, not lots of digressions, and they actually did it quite economically. They didn't always get it technically right, like people weren't always in the frame when they were talking, but you know, they can work on that.
They can work on that. And also, what I liked about it was very natural, wasn't it? There were silences in the car. It wasn't overly scripted. Yes. Now, you were one of the judges in last year's entries. How do they compare this year?
From as much as I can remember, I thought that the real difference was that there were more films last year that had cracked this narrative structure problem. Lots of the entries this year were very rambling, and I think we all felt as we sat through one after the other, gosh, they could do with 10 minutes, 15, 20 minutes sometimes out. And there's this sort of central problem of how you tell your story. How do you take your audience through your story? How do you build the tension? How do you let it off? Which scenes follow that? And it's a sort of critical problem of filmmaking that none of us know the answer to. We are all having a go at it, and some people are better at it than others. And it was interesting to hear Mike Apted say that, you know, with all those credits behind him, that he still found this the most difficult problem to crack. And lots of these entrants really craved your indulgence with their storytelling. They just banged on, or they rambled, and they just hadn't always sat down and thought, what is it I want to say, and how am I going to say it? Am I going to say it through drama? Am I going to say it through comedy? You know, and it, I think that's one thing that lots of them could actually think about before they did it.
Right, but with this particular case, we feel that you've got the message across quite succinctly.
I think they cracked the structure problem, yeah.
Good, well, we like that one. Anyway, we received a number of entries about steam engines and steam railway lines. It's a favourite subject amongst some of the older amateur movie makers. The entry we're about to see now, though, stood out from the others in that it attempted to relate some of the history of the railway line. Dolbadarn and the Lake is a 15-minute film made by 43-year-old social worker Jeff Wright from Derby on Super 8mm film. It describes the Pattern Railway in Wales, which runs from Penllyn to Dinorwic quarries.
The men who first used this railway led an incredibly tough life in the quarry. They swung on ropes or worked on flimsy platforms to drill holes in this hard rock. They only had hand tools and gunpowder to work with. More powerful explosives would have shattered the slate into useless waste. Two dozen of these little engines were used in the quarry galleries. They were mostly named after racehorses in the stables of the quarry owners. Quarry locomotives were built without cabs so that they could negotiate the narrow tunnels between workings. Each gallery was connected to the one below by a sloping rail incline. These wagons were made in the quarry's own workshops. Poor road access makes it impossible for passengers to join the train at Penllyn, so all train journeys start and finish here at the Llanberis Pattern station. The return journey takes a leisurely 40 minutes. Dolbadarn is a Hunslet engine. It was one of a pair of locomotives supplied to the harbour at Port de Norwich for shunting duties in 1922. The engine worked in the quarry from 1936 until 1967 and is one of the last steam locomotives to work in a British slate quarry. At the end of each working day, Dolbaden has to cross the busy car park access road to reach the loco shed, housed in a corner of the Slate Museum building.
The competition allowed amateurs to enter films or videos on any subject and of any length. Consequently, we received entries ranging from just under a minute to a full 3-hour epic. So far, we've only been able to pick out short extracts, but the next one we can see in full. The makers set themselves the challenge of encapsulating a complete life history in a very short space of time, just under 3 minutes. The Star, made by Daniel Chase and John Stevens, two former film school students, describes the journey of a pop star from childhood through to middle age. It was made on Super 8mm film. I love the music on that one. The Star by Daniel Chase and John Stevens. Although it was shot on film, it was transferred to video and edited on U-matic, a professional video medium. This enabled the makers to exploit the best of both media and also keep the costs down. Well, we're now all pretty used to the main political parties using film and video to persuade us of their ideas, but they aren't the only ones. Cruise Watch, a political pressure group opposed to cruise missiles, sent us this video which argues their cause. It was shot on VHS and edited on U-matic.
Since November 1983, this so-called RAF base has been home to the 501st Tactical Missile Wing of the United States Air Force and the place where the American military prepare for nuclear war. From these silos, the missiles and their support apparatus are supposed to slip unnoticed to secret firing sites in rural England. Their practices have so far been confined to military establishments, mainly the firing ranges on Salisbury Plain and at Longmoor Camp, shown here in yellow. These are the roads most frequently used by crews. A typical 80-mile round trip takes Death speeding through the streets of Newbury and Hungerford and the ancient borough of Marlborough, past Woolworths, W.H. Smith's, the Castle and Ball Hotel, and almost through the dormitories of the famous school. Next stop, Devizes. In the picturesque heart of England, Doomsday rumbles yards from the slumbering houses on its way to its secret dispersal site. Thanks to Cruise Watch, the secrets have never been kept yet. A full flight complement of 16 cruise missiles is carried in a convoy of 22 vehicles plus a massive police escort. Once Cruise is at its launch site, normally hidden in a wood, Cruise Watch observes its location and its movements night and day, maintaining contact by CB radio until it returns.
Not surprisingly, we received lots of entries which had been inspired by films and television programmes. There were numerous remakes of Rocky and Rambo, brave attempts but lacking the budget, the stars or even in some cases a plot. But it was the successful television series Great River Journeys of the World which inspired 38-year-old Anthony Hull, a teacher in Devon, to produce his film Little River Journeys, Part 16, The Torrents, which was shot on VHS video.
There are spectacular stretches of white water that some say have given rise to its older, native nickname, Staller Flug, River of the Wild Stallion. Elsewhere, the Torrents conducts itself more calmly. Clear, relatively slow-moving stretches can be found, rich in wildlife and vegetation. A mere dozen winding miles from source to estuary, the Torrents contains no less than 2 major sections of white water, assessed by international experts as severe to impossible. In addition, an outstanding series of waterfalls creates a further hazard to any attempts at exploration by boat or raft. Such a journey would appear to be out of the question. Out of the question, that is, except to one man, Roland Orlock, amateur botanist, boating enthusiast, and plastics technologist. Ignoring the warnings of professionals, he has constructed a rowing boat that might, in theory, survive such a journey down the Torrents. To help withstand constant smashing against solid rock, the hull is made of an entirely new plastic compound invented by Roland himself. Now he studies the only available map of the Torrents in preparation for his projected date of departure, July the 15th, 1986. July 16th. A fine summer's afternoon high up on the Torrents. This is one of the few accessible spots on the river, reached only by a 5-hour journey over rough tracks. With camping equipment and supplies for just 3 days, stored in tiny compartments beneath his feet, Roland rows up a tributary into the main channel. From now on, he has to trust himself completely to the unique, ultra-strong and buoyant material forming the sides of his tiny craft, and to his skill as an oarsman. Will the boat withstand the treacherous stretches of white water? Roland is conscious that the experts have pronounced these stretches unnavigable. These are the first signs of the approaching rapids, the first real obstacle on the journey. This is a true test of the ruggedness and buoyancy of his homemade craft. At one point, the boat is nearly submerged, but this time his luck holds. The current propels him into calmer water. Exhausted, he rows out of further danger and makes for a nearby beach. The first test is over.
He's a real cutie. Sorry we could only show you a little clip from Little River Journeys, but I can assure you that, like the television series, our hero Roland Orlock does reach his destination in the end. Now on to humour of a different kind. Many entries stuck to fairly conventional subject matter, but not so Caroline Hawkins. For her final year project at Bournemouth and Poole College of Art and Design, she produced a 25-minute drama about a day in the life of a transvestite.
You know I'm a man, don't you?
Well, I was wondering.
How did you know?
Well, let's face it, your lipstick's not very good, is it?
No? Sorry.
Look, you know you can get into trouble for doing this, don't you?
I haven't yet.
You do it a lot, then?
Only on the train. My mates don't know.
Christ! How can you get away with it? I mean, it's... Sorry. Actually, you don't look too bad.
What's going for it? Life, is it? Taking the kids to football. Pub. Humming bits of metal about. Humming the wife. Flying the moon, strangling the canary. God, you could go mad.
We dig our own pits. Did you say wife?
She went mad when she called me. I thought she was like my mum. I suppose she would, really. I was wearing her bra, I think.
That her coat?
No way, no. Oxford.
I've had a great idea.
Hello, Gov. Yeah, it is, yeah. Look, I'm afraid I won't be in today. Flu, I think. Yeah, well, I'm on my way to the doctor, see?
No time for him to get cold feet. Lipstick and Old Spice by Caroline Hawkins, who both wrote and directed the film. Well, Angela, I know that you've been involved in films which have had a humorous content. Did that make you laugh?
Yes, it made me laugh in a sort of gentle way, not in a belly-aching, rolling in the aisles way, but I thought it was sweetly humorous.
The shoe flying off was quite funny, wasn't it?
Very nice indeed, and done without dialogue, jokes without dialogue, because we are, after all, dealing with pictures and not just dialogue. It's interesting how many of the entrants tried humour, because humour's really difficult. And I think many of the entrants went where angels would fear to tread, quite frankly, because it's very, very hard to get it right. And it's interesting why it's hard to get it right. I don't know the answer. If I did, I'd be making corkers every time. But I think one of the reasons is that you have to have strong, believable characters, and they can often play their humorous situations absolutely straight. And then because you believe in the character, you then laugh at it. And lots of the entrants didn't do that. They had sort of wacky one-liners, which you ran out of patience with after 5 minutes. But this girl had developed her characters. You could see that.
Yes, I really believed in both of them. I thought the girl particularly was very good, the actress, yes. But I believed in both of them. Yes,
it's important to say that both of these characters were played by professional actors, jolly good ones. And I think that makes it quite difficult to judge that against some of the other entries where, for instance, the 3 little girls we saw were just presumably out of the 3rd form at their school. And I think that they ought to have got it right. Their timing was super, but it ought to have been right, you know.
Do you think sometimes that the amateur film and video makers have been trying to be a bit too ambitious by doing this sort of thing, by taking on humour, and maybe they should be working from perhaps their own experiences a bit more?
Well, it's always good to work from your own experience because that's what you know about, so at least you've got something to judge it by. But I don't think you can ever be too ambitious. You might be too ambitious with sets and technical equipment and so on, but actually in what you want to say, you can only follow your own star. You shouldn't trim it and cut it to try and fit someone else's conception. You've just got to say what's inside you to say. So I wouldn't say hold back, no.
No.
I just wanted to say one other thing, though, about the technicalities of it. I think we had this range of entries, some of them who'd actually got professional equipment like film students. They'd got proper cameras, proper tracking equipment, lights and so on. And then we had other entrants where the director had written, acted in it, cut it and done everything. And what I do think is that talent will out. It doesn't matter how many machines or smooth cameras or 35mm you have. The real thing is, you know, the idea.
Right. Well, let's move on to the next one then and see what that's like. Our next entry, Word on a Wing, was shot on 16mm film by 23-year-old Oliver Curtis, who's been a film student since 1984. Word on a Wing is set at some indeterminate time in the future when people are able to communicate with each other by video phone. In this extract, we see the results of a simple crossed line.
was cold as usual. A friend was on the air and she had pictures of us as children. When something happened.
Hello? Hello? Are you someone?
Who are you?
My name is Peter. Got that? P for Peter. What's yours?
June. Jafe June.
That's a good name. Are you alone? I've been out here such a long time, it tends to get lonely. Where are you based, June?
Oh, somewhere. I can't afford to tell you.
I've been followed. I knew they'd get to me eventually.
Are you being traced? You shouldn't be transmitting. It's too dangerous.
I had to. Look here, can we meet?
A man who I've never met addresses me over the airwaves. He's wearing an old uniform, a pilot, I think. He has a moustache, his hair is thinning. I'm trying to picture him, place him. But it's difficult. The closer I look, the less I can make out. He could be miles away or right beside me. I don't even know if he's alive. He might be dead, and if he's a ghost, this would all make sense. Familiar.
June! June! They're at my door.
Give me your location. Maybe I can raise help.
It's no good. It was nice knowing you, June. I could love a woman like you.
This is so pointless.
Don't worry about me, June. Soon I'll have my wings, big white ones, and I'll come and visit you.
Don't be foolish. Look, you must try and escape.
Bye, June. Goodbye.
Oh, why did they have to stop there? In our next programme, Showreel 87, we'll be looking at more entries, including a video of penguins in the Falkland Islands, a stylish science fiction vision of the future, and a film of the preparations for the Buddhist New Year. We'll also have some news for you of last year's award winners. Meanwhile, my thanks to Angela Pope for joining me. And to end today's programme, let's take a look at this video from perhaps our oldest entrants. The Bishop's Cleeve songsters are all pensioners, and this is the first video they've ever made. What it lacks in polish or technique is more than made up for by their great enthusiasm and sense of fun. Bye for now.
We are a group of pensioners, we're happy all the day. We get our clothes from Oxford, it helps us with our pay. Next week we're buying fur coats, well, we really think we should, 'cause the members up in Parliament say we've never had it so good, 'cause the members up in Parliament say we've never had it so good. I've been